I'm here to talk to you about Word Builder. It's an interactive toy to teach kids how to read through gamification.
Is that a real word?
Gamification?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It's a new concept that's been rising up and being very popular nowadays. Turning everything that's education into a game. Basically tricking kids to learn. The idea is twofold. There's a problem that's social and there's a problem that's educational. The social problem is that wealthy families tend to teach their kids how to read at an earlier age because they have more time, because they read more to them, and the kids get more proactively aware of how to read and what those sounds of the particular words are. The educational aspect of it is kids learn through tangibility. They grab things, they put them in place, they move around, they grab shapes, they match them, they point at colors, they move everything around. When we teach reading, it's like you're telling the kids, throw that away. Just look at these words, that's what they sound like. It's an abstract concept. How do you teach an abstract concept to a kid that's 3 years old? It's not a very easy thing to do. So I'm going to expand a little bit more about the social problem. So the social problem, as it stands, is if kids know how to read at the 3rd grade level, by the time they graduate 3rd grade, they have a higher chance of escaping that poverty cycle than if they don't. And that was published by a couple of research papers. So they looked into it and they looked at circumstances in which kids learn escape poverty or not escape poverty, and that is one of the biggest issues. Because if they know how to read by the 3rd grade, they know how to learn. And if they know how to learn, they can keep on learning. But if they don't, then we have a problem. So the opportunity, again, twofold. There is very few things out there that are interactive that will teach kids how to, really they're educational and interactive. There's a lot of fun, interactive toys that make sounds and noises and play things, but they still don't have a very concrete level. And the best example I can give you that is a really good concrete toy is Legos. But if you look at the market for teaching kids how to read, you have the alphabet block, the leaf reader, which is just a pen, and it just kind of supposedly makes sounds on the way you move around. The leaf pad, it's a tablet, it's a screen. We're teaching our kids to interact with screens, but we don't. What is there tangible about that? And then there's the static ones, the alphabet blocks. It's a C, it's an A. You can arrange them however you want, but it's not going to tell you what CAR says or does. So we want to create an interactive toy that is very intriguing to parents that are, quote, looking to have kids, to have toys for their kids to learn and experience through them. And then the other aspect of things is we're looking at a business model that is aimed to follow the same models that exist out there, like the one laptop per child and the Tom's shoes, which is buy one, and a kid in need gets one. And that would be distributed through different government agencies, food stamps, or Mass Health has a program in which you subscribe to one of the healthcare providers from Mass Health, and they have a list of things that they can tell you you can get when you're part of that certain program. So like they have helmets, booster chairs, that kind of stuff. This would be a toy, like they could say, oh, you can also apply for one of these and get one of these. So the solution, it's very simple. You have blocks. They are equipped with an input screen. When you pick one up, all the other ones change, and they will change according to other word segments that will write a word. So once you pick one up, the kid can't do wrong. It'll play its sound, and then you pick another one, it'll play its sound, you put them together, it spells a word. Of course, the applications this is the very basic level. We're envisioning applications where you can make a word puzzle or crossword puzzle, and all kinds of other things. And we would provide this toy to kids. It would create an association from the words to the sounds and have them be ready for when they come to school. They'll already have some background as this makes this sound and this makes that sound. Our budget right now is we need parts to create building a prototype that we can test for functionality, test against my 3-year-old, and let's time up. So, but moving on from that, we are looking to create an actual electronic part with all the integrated parts built into it, using microchips that we will program ourselves. My partner couldn't be here, he has an exam right now, so that's why I'm presenting myself. Any questions?
Yeah, so who are you going to sell to? Are you selling to homeowners or people?
Yeah, so the idea is we would sell to parents that are wealthy enough to afford the toy.
Okay.
And through that, we would split the proceeds and distribute toys when we can to people that need it.
Okay. And how much? What are you going to sell it for?
We're thinking of looking at our price list. We want to be here somewhere with the League Pad Ultra, and so around that price, around $100.
Around $100. What do you think it's going to cost you to make it?
Well, that's part of the thing that we need to figure out with doing the prototypes, because depending on the kind of connections between the two blocks, I know for a fact that considering the parts that we have here, this is $347 using proprietary parts, which are usually marked up at about 30%. So if we go there, we could say around $100 or something, depending on where we produce it, compliance testing, all that stuff that needs to be taken care of. But first, we need to understand what we need, where we need it, and you know, what's the capacity of its application.
So how many pieces are part of this? I mean, what is the product?
Yeah,
look
so
like
the
again?
idea is you have a base station that does the processing. So it has a larger processor. It has the bank of sounds and the logic built into it. And then you have these little ones that are going to have e-ink screens. So they consume very little power, so they last a long, long time. And they're powered by a button cell. And all they do is they have an accelerometer that senses when you pick them up. And so once you pick them up, it sends a signal to the main. The main will redistribute another signal to all the other blocks. And it will give, like, so if you pick up T, one block will have an O, another one will have an EA, another will have a TOD or something like that. So it'll just like make it very intuitive to just pick one up and read it and start putting things together. As we build different complexity levels, one could be, we're thinking the crossword puzzle, it would just set all of them to word, like it'll automatically interpret a word cross puzzle, set all of them, and as the kid picks them up, it just sounds them, and you can put them together in that order. If you can see, they have 4 points of connection, so you can connect them to the bottom, the top, and the sides, and it just lay them out as you connect them.
And how many blocks are there?
So the set would come with 5 blocks, and you could buy extra blocks as you wanted to.
Plus that.
Plus the main computer. And the other thing that we are looking at is the logic is already there. We already programmed the logic. So we can actually apply that logic to an app that we're planning on distributing soon to actually start getting, you know, recognition as far as Word Builder app, now buy Word Builder toy. And so we're going to work on that soon.
How would you not? It's just blocks on the screen?
Yeah, you just drag and drop blocks into this into place, and they can do interactive stuff. You can build a castle of words or something like that.
And then would you it would come programmed with 1,000 words or something like that?
Yeah, so the way it works is this is Wi-Fi block. You just enter a local HTTP site onto your computer. It's local to your house network, so it'll connect straight to your house network. No one else can connect from outside. And you can add words if you want to, or you can just leave it in the standard. It'll have 3 levels set. No, actually, sorry. It'll have 4 levels, because there's 4 levels of reading words. So the first word is like out there in like language interpretation classes. There's the first level is learn how to do these words. Then the second level is learn how to do these words. And so there's 4 prescribed already out there, dictionaries that kids should learn.
So the problem you articulated was that that kids aren't getting to learning how to read enough, and mostly it's the economically deprived families have that problem. The solution is I'm going to build toy that wealthy families can buy, and when wealthy families buy it, I'm gonna give one to these guys. So I'm solving this by getting wealthy people to buy the toy so that these guys can get one.
Yes, that's basically the essence of it. The idea is that a lot of the building blocks, before kids go into kindergarten, my wife is an education master's, and so we've had multiple discussions about this. So it's more about building that initial building block. Know that the kids can associate letters to words, and really understand that, you know, if you have this segment of things, it makes a sound. If you build that little building block, it prepares them for for kindergarten. As soon as they get to kindergarten, they already know that. So it really does that. So if you just give a kid a toy and it does anything, it requires very little interaction between different people, then it just kind of helps those kids learn those interactions early and do the whole pre-building word phase before they get into kindergarten and bring up the level. And we feel like wealthy parents that buy this, there's a lot of things out there. I mean, strollers are $500. People spend $500 on a stroller.
Yep.
And so we feel like when it comes to a product that's a toy, it's an interactive, it's educational, the market is out there, and people will
So
look
if
to
I'm
it.
in the projects, what do I need for this to work? You know, when I get one from a social service.
So standalone, it works by itself. You don't need anything else.
I don't need a smartphone or a
no.
laptop or anything.
It just
like
does it by itself. And so it consumes very little power, so
that. Could you
basically...
put like a little solar thing on it? So like, you know.
Actually, you know what, I haven't thought about
You
that,
can
but
just
it
say
might
like
be
you
a
don't need any
possibility.
electricity.
Yeah, it might be a possibility to do that. It would be really cool. Then you don't even have to worry about batteries. But the cool thing about these blocks is it's an e-ink screen. I don't know if you guys dealt with an Amazon Kindle. And actually, we got e-ink to donate a couple screens, so that'll be nice for moving forward. But it takes almost no electricity to set, and then once it's set, it stays there, so you don't need electricity to maintain it. So the blocks get set, and until the kid moves them, you won't be consuming any electricity.
You may want to consider having an option to upload whatever your kids spells onto Facebook, so like painfully obnoxious bragging parents can say like, my 1 month old just put 2 blocks together and spelled the word cat, you know, he's a genius. Like, people are freaks.
That would be great. Yeah,
about
people,
their kids.
everybody thinks
And
their
then
kids
you'd
are
have a cute
prodigies.
little, like, you'd have a cute little like logo that said, you know, little Timothy, you know, what's the name of the company? What's the name of the company?
Oh, word builder?
Word builder icon, you know, like.
My kid has a word builder
Yeah,
score of 95. you
Yeah,
know,
like people
my
are
kids better
so
than yours.
grossly into that, like.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like get them to compete against, so then they can have like fights.
You
and
know the
stuff
parents
like
will be putting
And
words
the more
together
blocks
just
you
to
get,
the score up.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My kids had 1,000 too.
but you get like those wealthy parents, right? They're, you know,
Really
they're the
interesting.
ones that are gonna be like checking Facebook, you know, on Saturday morning and then, oh wow, look at that, you know, like there are 2 of these things. We should get one of those for little actor.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea, and it might entice them to buy more blocks, because if
Yeah.
you buy more blocks, you can build more words.
My kid can still facilitate.
Yeah.
We need one of those.
Yeah, triple word score, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Have you thought of other business models besides the buy one, give one away? I mean, is there another way of coming at it? I mean, I don't know,
So-
another market to go to?
In essence, I mean, if we can't get, if say for example, it starts getting too expensive and there's no way we can afford one set for every set the kids go. The idea is to keep on building apps, keep on building different applications for it, and eventually, you know, say 30% of our process is going to be to buy as many as we can. Another aspect of things is I know there's a lot of, like, the state just failed English language learners tests, and they're investing money. I mean, my wife has 6 interviews for ELL. It's ridiculous. Like, they just want to hire people right now. But if you can tell them, you know what, buy a couple of these. You know, get the kids associated with how to pronounce words in English, how to learn to pronounce words in English, and it'll really like promote that. So then you can have a system in which you have wealthy schools buying for, by having sister schools that they donate blocks to the same thing.
I think it's a really interesting concept. I would But I worry that there's too much tech involved and too many things that might go wrong. Have you thought about if your blocks, your individual blocks were unpowered, I mean literally blocks of wood with maybe like RF tags in them. And when I picked up any block, I've got my alphabet, any block, and I added, and I put it next to another block, they would understand what's there, and I connect them to my base station, and the base station goes, I got a T, I got an E, and I got an A, it spells T, green light, good, here's the word, or if you mix them around,
That's
you might not make it.
Actually, that could be the, the good, better, best kind of, so that would be the entry level
Yeah,
aspect of things.
I think that's a good idea. I'm literally on my 5th Kindle, right, because I drop them.
Yeah.
And I'm not a 3-year-old throwing them around, because
They're tough on
the
stuff.
8-years are fragile.
So in startup world, you may hear this a lot, the MVP, the minimum viable product. That's got a lot of tech. You might want to think about what's the simplest way I could get this result. And that may be the wooden block with an RFID card where the base station holds all the tech.
Yeah.
And the blocks are just wooden or plastic with the simple reader in them.
You spell T. Yeah, people would be,
Right.
that would be great.
And then it's the simplest version, and then
Build on from there.
build up, and then, because that version, you might be able to make cheap enough where people just buy it direct. You don't have to do the one, and that's what I was asking with the business model.
Yeah,
You
no,
might be
it
able to
makes
get
sense.
it where it's like, all right, this thing is cheap enough where regular folks can actually buy. So something to think about.
No, that's
I
a
like
great
the
idea, and I think that would definitely go into it. And the good thing is that in the end, the logic is all the same, so we
Right.
can reuse a lot of the software that is being built. And it's already in the process of being built.
Cool.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.